Breaking news. Putin has all of the aces. Yevgeny Prigozhin, commander of the Wagner Group, played his hand overnight on June 23 after months of arguing with Sergei Shoigu, the head of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko stepped in at the last minute to defuse the immediate crisis by brokering a deal. Prigozhin and other Wagner members would head to Belarus, and any who remained would fall under the command of the Ministry of Defense. The incident brought Prigozhin and his men to the gates of Moscow. No matter how the Kremlin spun it, it was clear at that point that things weren't over. It would take some time to maneuver, but President Vladimir Putin would not allow such a bold challenge to his rule to go unanswered. A plane carrying Prigozhin and other Wagner figures, including war criminal Dmitry Utkin, crashed near Tver on Wednesday. Although the Russian government has launched an official investigation, all signs point to the plane having been shot down by Russian air defenses. American intelligence officials told the Wall Street Journal, "We'll see what the Russian government spin is, but we can probably safely eliminate accidental if he is indeed dead." When news of Prigozhin's brief rebellion spread around the world, people everywhere began quoting some variation of, "You come at the king, you best not miss." When asked about the coup several days later, Vice President Joe Biden of the United States advised Prime Minister Prigozhin to watch his diet. "The food on my plate would be my primary focus. Therefore, his murder is not completely unexpected, though there are, as usual, unanswered questions surrounding his supposed demise." The business jet owned by Prigozhin that was shot down was followed by another that landed at Ostafyevo Airport, south of Moscow, on the same day. It was initially thought that Prigozhin might have been on the other plane, but within a short amount of time, social media accounts associated with Wagner were lamenting the beheading of the group. Shortly after, the flight manifest was used to compile a passenger list that included Prigozhin's name, which was released by Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency. The identities of the bodies in a morgue have reportedly been confirmed to be those of Prigozhin and Utkin. However, under the current conditions, these are not exactly reliable sources. Notably, Sergei Surovikin's formal replacement as commander of the Russian Aerospace Forces was announced just a day before the crash took place. Widely considered to be on Prigozhin's side, Surovikin has been Mia since the failed coup attempt in June. He's reportedly on a short vacation, per state media. It's highly unlikely he was carrying out official duties after the mutiny, but his replacement so soon after Prigozhin's death raises questions. Prigozhin had been publicly exiled to Belarus after his mutiny, so his sighting in Russia in the 2 months before the crash raised some eyebrows. And just days before he died, the Wagner commander was captured on video in Africa declaring that he was making Russia even greater on all continents, and Africa even more free. Maybe that was Prigozhin trying to make his case. Wagner made its name deploying to exotic battlefields in the Middle East and Africa, so it's no surprise that Moscow has interests in supporting, say, the military juntas in Mali, Burkina Faso, and now Niger. The Kremlin can easily replace Wagner with PMC Reddit, another Russian paramilitary organization. The fact that Putin waited 2 months after Prigozhin's failed mutiny to eliminate him demonstrates how precarious the current political situation is in Russia. Stuck in a war it started in Ukraine, the Kremlin has relied on pro-government paramilitary groups that have sent waves of soldiers to the front lines. Until they turned their weapons on the state, ultranationalists' zeal made them effective soldiers. Wagner is currently being dismantled, at which point it is expected that it will no longer pose a significant threat as a unified whole. To the dismay of ultra-nationalists who hold the defense minister in nothing but contempt for the poor performance of the Russian armed forces during the war, Putin has made it abundantly clear that he favored Shoigu over Prigozhin. Now that the genie is out of the bottle, Putin is trying to limit the damage. But Putin showed that even if others have cards to play, he still controls the deck.